on the vast land of China, where the mountain ranges curve like the strokes of a heavenly painter. There are 4 mountains that not only possess majestic natural forms but also contain the 1,000-year-old spiritual energy of Buddhism. People respectfully call them the 4 great Buddhist mountains of China, 4 spiritual pillars where heaven and earth meet, where people seek peace. One, Wutai, homeland of Manjushri Bodhisattva. Located in Shanxi province, Wutai is not only a natural masterpiece with 5 snow-capped peaks all year round, but also the dojo of Manjushri Bodhisattva, the embodiment of transcendent wisdom. Here, white clouds drift by like thoughts. The mountain wind whispers ancient sutras, and temples such as Hien Thong, Lahan, Thap Veen spread the scent of meditation, awakening even lost hearts. If the human world is a giant ink painting of the Chinese land and sky, then Wutai is the most noble and sacred stroke on that painting, where the land and sky are silent to listen to the ancient chanting, where the mist covers but still cannot hide the halo of devotion. Yes, that is the homeland of Manjushri Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva symbolizing wisdom, compassion, and enlightenment. Located in Shanxi province, amidst the quiet mountains, Wutai Mountain is one of China's 4 great Buddhist mountains, along with Jiuhuashan Mountain, Putuo Mountain, and Emei Mountain. But suppose the other mountains are like silent masters. In that case, Wutai Mountain is a leisurely sage, both majestic and approachable, sometimes hidden in the white clouds, sometimes appearing in the green forest rustling with the singing wind. The name, Wutai, originates from the strange shape of the 5 central mountains, Dongtai, Zatai, Nantai, Beitai, and Zhongtai, like 5 large altars spread across the sky and earth, supporting the spiritual realm of many generations of people. On top of Beitai Mountain, the highest place, covered with snow all year round, people believe that this is where Manjushri Bodhisattva often appears, leisurely riding a green lion, carrying wisdom to lead sentient beings out of ignorance. Wutai Mountain is a sacred Buddhist place and a symphony of nature, architecture, spirituality, and art. More than 50 ancient temples were built thousands of years ago, such as Tan Luang Tu, Hien Thong Tu, or Lahan Duang. Each has a story, spirit, and beauty that captivates people's hearts. The sound of temple bells echoing through the mountains and forests seems to resonate the music of heaven and earth, touching people's hearts with sacred strings. Every step on the pilgrimage to Wutai Mountain is a step into the depths of the soul. Some people come to pray for peace. Some seek the light of truth. Some want to breathe in the fresh air. And some listen to the wind whispering like the Bodhisattva preaching the Dharma. And anyone, whether walking in the sun or the rain, will feel their heart as light as the clouds. Because Wutai Mountain is not only a place to visit, but a place to awaken. The space here is also highly artistic. In summer, Wild flowers bloom on the mountainside like joyful notes in an endless Zen song. In autumn, red maple leaves burn like fire in the hearts of pilgrims. In winter, white snow covers every stone step and every temple roof, turning the entire Wutai Mountain into a surreal ink painting, a place where time seems to stand still to join hands and chant sutras with the mountain wind. Wutai Mountain is not just a place name, but a state of mind. In this place, people can leave behind all the world's noise, greed, anger, and ignorance, leaving only the awareness, serenity, and wisdom of Manjushri Bodhisattva, located in Shanxi province, where majestic terrain blends with ancient features of thousands of years. Wutai Mountain is not simply a destination, but a spiritual place where people seek purification, tranquility, and awakening. Known as one of the 4 great Buddhist mountains of China, Wutai Mountain is even more special because of its unique shape. 5 prominent peaks form an open hand, reaching up to the sky as a gesture of blessing from heaven and earth. Each mountain, Dongtai, Zitai, Nantai, Beitai, and Zhongtai, has its beauty, energy, and legend, interwoven with history and Buddhist legend. Manjushri Bodhisattva is believed to appear here often, riding a green lion, holding a sword of wisdom, traveling among the clouds to save sentient beings. Therefore, every step of the pilgrimage to Wutai Mountain is also a request, a wish sent to the boundless, compassionate realm. But Wutai Mountain is not only a land of scriptures and spirituality. It is also a masterpiece of nature, where the immense sky meets the majestic earth in a poetic encounter. In summer, flowers and grasses bloom on the mountain slopes. The gentle breezes are like the caressing hands of excellent vows. In winter, white snow covers the hills, making the whole area seem touched by the transcendental, a Western paradise in the heart of reality. In particular, visitors cannot help but visit Tunluang too, the oldest temple in Ngu Dai Sun, believed to be where Manjushri Bodhisattva manifested. Besides, a series of legendary temples such as Lahan Duan, Hien Thong Tu, Thak Thap Tu, altogether create a symphony of ancient, quiet, and strangely sacred architecture. Coming to Ngu Dai Sun, there is no need to rush. Let every step be a meditation sentence. Every breath be a listening practice. Amidst temple bells ringing in the wind, amidst the thin layer of mist surrounding the mountain top, you will feel something simple but precious. Peace blooming in your heart. 2. Mount Putuo, Heavenly Kingdom of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. There are places where, when we set foot, we feel like we have just stepped into a fairy tale book. Some lands do not need an introduction. Just a breeze blowing through is enough to make people's hearts as calm as the surface of an autumn lake. Putuo Mountain, the pearl in the middle of the East Sea of Zhejiang province, is such a place. This island not only has waves, green trees, and cool breezes, but also contains thousands of years of spirituality, history, and the compassionate light of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. The ancients called this place South Sea Holy Land, where Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara resides to save sentient beings, listens to all the world's sufferings, and reaches out to save them with a heart of boundless compassion. Putuo Mountain is not just a pilgrimage destination, but a sacred dreamland, where the human soul can shed the dust of the world and find the gentle light within itself. Although Jiuhuashan is only about 12.5 square kilometers wide, which sounds modest, strangely, this place contains a miniature universe. Not only mountains, sea, forests, rocks, streams. The island also has temples, caves, shrines, Buddha statues, and a sacred atmosphere that makes even the footsteps of travelers tread lightly, as if afraid of waking up the sleep of heaven. The low, undulating mountains seem to curve like a sleeping dragon. At the same time, the moss-covered rocky slopes stretch out to the sea as if wanting to receive every drop of Bodhisattva's nectar. Sometimes, just a breeze blowing through the treetops, people can hear the sound of bells ringing from somewhere, not knowing if it is from the temple, from the ground, or their hearts. Legend has it that, long ago, a Tibetan monk carried a statue of Guanyin across the sea, intending to bring it back to Japan. But when the boat reached the island, a storm arose. The wind and waves rose fiercely, forcing the ship to turn back. At that time, Bodhisattva appeared, saying that this was where he chose to stay and save sentient beings. Since then, people built temples and pagodas and spread the word about Putuo as the sacred land of Quan Am. Countless times, fishermen went out to sea with big waves. They were lucky enough to return, all praying to Quan Am. Many people who had lost their way came here to worship Buddha and suddenly felt lighthearted as if they had just shed 1,000 pounds of suffering. Perhaps that is why people call Putuo pure land in the middle of the ocean. A paradise on earth where everyone who goes there carries a sacred mark in their hearts. Suppose there is a place where heaven and earth bow down to pay homage. In that case, the ocean chants sutras, and the wind also knows how to pray. Then that place is Putuo Mountain. This small island lying alone off the East Sea is not as noisy as Shanghai, not as splendid as Beijing, but quietly performs a pure miracle, making anyone who comes here, whether a pilgrim or a sleepwalker, bow their heads and feel their hearts cleansed by the rain, dew, and bells. The sea embraces the island like a mother's gentle hand caressing her little child. The waves are not frantic, only murmuring like the ancient scriptures that have been echoing for thousands of years. Wooden boats drift by the mossy stone wharf, silent as if they have fallen asleep in the Buddha's dream. Every morning, before the sun has fully risen, a thin mist spreads across the green hillsides and the ancient temple roofs like a silk ribbon of Bodhisattva Guanyin gently falling to the earth. The world suddenly becomes blurred. There is no longer a boundary between reality and dream, between people and gods, between earth and sky. Green moss is thick like an ancient carpet covering time on the stone paths winding around the island. The old pine trees rustle and sing with the wind, and each stone step leading to the top of the pagoda seems to be calling out, "Come up here." To hear yourself breathe slowly. Each step becomes heavier not because of fatigue, but because the heart suddenly lightens, so much so that all worries seem to fall somewhere on the stone steps, then dissolve into the ringing bell from a temple hidden in the clouds. Somewhere, the Kwan Im Nam Hai statue stands tall in the sky. Tall but not overwhelming, but gentle like a mother's shadow looking out to the ocean. Her eyes are not stern, not arrogant, but warm and tolerant, as if listening to all the suffering of humanity without needing to speak. At the foot of the statue, white-capped waves rise and then gently melt into the stone, like the prayers of thousands who have come here, cried, prayed, and smiled silently. The island is covered in a pink silk coat of peach and camellia flowers in spring. In summer, the gentle sunlight spreads evenly over the temple roof, where the little monks run around like sparrows just learning to fly. In autumn, the leaves fall yellow on the steps, like ancient scriptures blown into the sky by the wind. And in winter, the fog covers the path, making the whole island seem to be sleeping in a deep Zen sleep, with only the sound of wooden fish and the wind keeping it awake. At night, the sea of Putuo is as calm as a sheet of paper. The moon rises like a silver coin falling into the water, and that light seeps into every crevice of the rocks, every treetop, every temple roof. No need for lights or music. Stand still, close your eyes, and listen to the sound of the waves lapping against the rocks like the universe's heartbeat. That is when humans and nature are no longer in opposition, but one. Putuo Mountain is not beautiful in a haughty, overwhelming way like an advertisement, but lovely in a way that knows how to meditate. Beautiful like a monk smiling, like a compassionate word spoken after 1,000 days of silence. Whoever comes will also be silent, as if afraid that their footsteps will disturb the silence of this place. Whoever leaves will also look back, as if their heart is still forgotten on the mossy stone steps, where the distant bell sound has not yet stopped. Emei Mountain, the sacred land of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. Hidden in the majestic beauty of the Sichuan Mountains, Emei Mountain is one of the 4 sacred mountains of Chinese Buddhism and a place where Buddhists and nature lovers come to find peace of mind and tranquility in life. Known as the Holy Land of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, Emei Mountain possesses spiritual power and an extremely mysterious and attractive beauty. Emei Mountain is located in Sichuan Province, southwest of China, at 3.099 meters above sea level. This mountain is called Emei, meaning mountain as high as a cloak, and with its majestic shape, it resembles a bodhisattva meditating between heaven and earth, seeing through all the ups and downs of the human world. Emei Mountain is famous for its beautiful scenery and symbolizes wisdom and compassion, where Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, the bodhisattva of action and wisdom, is worshipped and admired. Samantabhadra Bodhisattva is a critical bodhisattva in Buddhism. He is known for his image sitting on a white elephant, representing patience and infinite compassion. A pilgrimage to Emei Mountain is a journey to Samantabhadra, where the teachings of compassion, wisdom, and enlightenment will open an invisible door to each person's soul. Standing out among the must-see destinations of Emei Mountain is the Golden Summit, the highest peak of Emei, where a towering statue of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva shines in the sunlight every morning. This symbolizes respect for Samantabhadra, the most sacred place where Buddhists come to worship and pray. Emei Mountain is like a vivid ink painting. When the sun rises and the sun sets, the mountains, clouds, and light blend together, creating an indescribable, mysterious scene. The mist floating on the mountain top, the green trees around the ancient temples, and the sound of temple bells echoing throughout the mountains and forests create an extremely sacred and inspiring space for those seeking peace of mind. On a pilgrimage to Emei Mountain, visitors can admire the incredible beauty of the mountains and forests and immerse themselves in the quiet atmosphere, where every step is part of an inner journey. Don't forget to visit Baoguo Temple and Wanyan Temple, two ancient temples with thousands of years of history that preserve Buddhism's profound cultural and spiritual values. In particular, the journey to Emei Mountain cannot lack a moment of stopping on the winding trails, where you will feel the majesty of nature and the peace in every breath. At the top of the mountain, when standing in front of the statue of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, visitors will feel like they are blending into a highly peaceful world, where all the worries and sorrows of life seem to disappear, leaving only a strange sense of serenity. Emei Mountain is not just a tourist destination, but a spiritual journey, an opportunity to return to the self, to understand that enlightenment is not somewhere far away, but is within each of us, in every thought, every action, every heart full of compassion and wisdom. Therefore, if you find yourself standing in front of Emei Mountain one day, open your heart and immerse yourself in that sacred space, because that is where you can find absolute peace of mind and the precious teachings of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva of action and wisdom. There are mountains born to compose poetry. There are mountains born for people to climb and look up to admire the sky. Mountains, like Emei, are also made to bow their heads, not because of the height, not because of the majesty, but because the spiritual energy here makes people's hearts naturally calm, like a quiet lake under the full moon. Emei Mountain does not call out. The mountain waits silently, like a Zen master sitting in meditation in the deep forest. Not preaching, but making people's hearts naturally turn towards it. That mountain, located in the southwest of Sichuan, from afar looks like a large phoenix wing stretching across the sky, its back leaning against the earth and sky, its head covered with thousands of clouds. The name, Emei, phoenix eyebrows, is the beauty of the mountain's shape and the elegance of the spirit here. Early morning in Emei is a wordless symphony between fog and sunlight. Fog covers the mountains and forests like a thin silk cloak, embracing each bamboo branch, each mossy stone, each ancient tower hidden like a scene in a watercolor painting. On the winding paths leading into the deep forest, the temple bell rings as lightly as the wind, wafting like incense, yet powerful enough to touch the heart. Each step is like entering another world, where time no longer flows, where only the sacred silence between heaven and earth remains. On the mountainside, Van Nine Pagoda leans against the cliff, ancient and mossy but not old, like a wise older man wearing a bamboo hat, holding a fan, sitting and watching the world revolve beneath his feet. The statue of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra riding a white elephant here, majestic yet compassionate, grand yet gentle as a drop of dew, is a spiritual symbol that makes many people speechless standing in front of it. He does not look at us, smiles slightly, but it is enough for us to see ourselves in his quiet eyes. The higher you go, the quieter the mountain becomes. The wind does not rustle but moves lightly like a cat's paw, and the leaves do not rustle but shake like someone's arm, waving gently to invite. The golden summit, where heaven and man meet, is the pinnacle of both body and spirit. Looking down from here, white clouds float like the ocean, surrounding the mountain peaks like islands floating in the sky. The rising sun illuminates everything and opens people's hearts like lotus flowers blooming in mindfulness. Also, from that golden summit, when night falls, if you are lucky enough and your mind is calm, you can witness the Buddha's light, a circular halo radiating around a person's figure, like an absolute miracle. Science can explain, but people's hearts still feel sacred, because the miracle does not lie in the phenomenon, but in the emotion, in the belief that this place, Emei, is truly the land of Buddha, the land of Zen. Emei not only has temples, statues, and scenery. Emei also has tigers, the fierce spirit of the mountains and forests. But strangely, the tigers here also have the spirit of Zen, not raging, not roaring, but majestic, silent, like a god guarding the sacred mountain. People say that Bodhisattva Samantabhadra chose this place for practice, making even wild animals know how to meditate and live in harmony with the earth and sky. Emei in spring is a watercolor painting dotted with hundreds of flowers. In summer it is a fan of cool mountain breeze. In autumn it is a brocade robe embroidered with gold and red leaves. And in winter it is a white robe of the Buddhist world, quiet and sacred. Each season has its appearance, but all retain the same spirit, pure, profound, and imbued with the breath of Zen. (4) Jiuhuashan, the pure land of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. In the vast land of China, there is a mountain where every rock, every tree, every breeze carries within it a story of salvation and compassion. That is Jiuhuashan, one of the 4 great mountains of Chinese Buddhism, where Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva of mercy and salvation of all living beings, is worshipped with all respect and admiration. Jiuhuashan, located in Anhui province, China, is famous for its magnificent natural scenery and is a sacred place, attracting millions of Buddhists and tourists worldwide to worship and make pilgrimages. Known as the Mountain of Flowers, Jiuhuashan stands out with its pure beauty, blending nature and religion, between the mystery of the mountains and forests and the sacredness of Buddhism. The name Jiuhuashan originates from the shape of the mountain, with 9 prominent peaks, each like a flower blooming in the blue sky, symbolizing the perfection and endless development of the human soul. Like its name, Jiuhuashan is where life and energy from the universe converge, where people can find peace and serenity in their souls. In particular, Jiuhuashan is a place to worship Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva who symbolizes boundless compassion and the salvation of sentient beings in the underworld. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva is known as a beggar, holding a pearl in his hand, symbolizing the salvation and comfort of sentient beings. He is revered not only in Buddhism but also in Chinese folk beliefs. The journey to Jiuhuashan is not only geographical, but also a spiritual pilgrimage. On the way up the mountain, visitors will admire ancient trees, lush green grass, ancient temples hidden in the mist, and the sound of temple bells echoing in the wind, creating a mysterious and surprisingly quiet space. The special thing about Jiuhuashan is the Zhejiang Temple. This ancient temple preserves many sacred relics and is a place where Buddhists come to offer offerings and pray for their families, friends, and themselves. Zhejiang Temple is not only a place for worship, but also an ideal destination for those seeking serenity, to listen to the teachings of Buddha and Bodhisattva Zhejiang about compassion, salvation, and enlightenment. In addition to its spiritual beauty, Jiuhuashan also attracts visitors with its beautiful natural scenery. The towering peaks, the white waterfalls, the rich forests, and the floating clouds covering the mountaintops create a magical, poetic picture, making anyone who sets foot here stunned by the incredible beauty of nature. If you are a lover of tranquility and want to find a place to calm your mind, Jiuhuashan is the ideal destination. Not only is it a Buddhist holy land, Jiuhuashan is also a place for you to feel the magic of nature, to listen to the sound of the wind blowing through the forests, to feel each gentle step on the path leading to the top of the high mountain, where you can admire the majestic natural panorama and find peace in your soul. With all the wonders and sacredness, Jiuhuashan is a tourist destination and a spiritual journey, where you can find liberation and enlightenment within yourself. Suppose Emei Mountain is a Buddhist realm, where the high sky and white clouds intermingle in the silence of meditation. In that case, Wutai Mountain is a sacred place on earth, where every visitor's step seems to touch a memory of myth and mystery. It is called Wutai Mountain because it has 9 towering peaks, each symbolizing a different meditation realm and level of heaven, creating a mysterious multi-dimensional space. Wutai Mountain is not just a mountain, but a symbol of perfection in Buddhist wisdom. Under the sunlight, the peaks are deeply engraved in the blue sky, rising high and sturdy, like lotus platforms welcoming the dawn. In the afternoon, when sunlight fades, Jiuhuashan Mountain resembles a beautiful ink painting. The mist drifting as if to part the clouds, revealing ancient, quiet, mysterious holy places. On top of the mountain, a winding path leads to Kuwa Pagoda, where monks practice and chant day and night, making the space around here always filled with the sounds of mantras, wooden fish, and bells. The air here seems imbued with a special spiritual energy, making pilgrims, even those who have just arrived, feel serenity and peace. Gentle breezes blow through the ancient pine trees, creating rustling sounds like whispers of nature, of heaven and earth. Under the moonlight, the undulating rocks reflect silver rays of light, creating a dreamy, magical space like entering another world, a world separate from earthly life's noise. Ancient pagodas stretch out through layers of clouds, wistful like invisible prayers echoing in the vast space of the universe. If spring brings bright pink peach blossoms, autumn spreads the yellow of the sturdy leaves. And then in winter, Jiuhuashan seems to put on a white snowcoat, a pure white of ice and silence. On snowy days, the landscape appears to be covered with a layer of mysterious fog. Everything becomes blurry, leaving only a strange quietness. That silence does not make people feel cold, but makes the soul feel bathed in purity, as if purified by the icy winds. Jiuhuashan is also associated with legendary stories about saints and monks who have reached the highest realm. The winding, curving trails lead you into deep caves, where flickering candles illuminate ancient Buddha statues, holy places filled with silence, where only the breathing of nature and the human soul blend. Without many lights and traces of modern life, Jiuhuashan is still a paradise, where everyone can find themselves, hear the beats of their hearts, and feel the harmony between heaven and earth, sound and silence. This is where everything is not just scenery, but a soul journey, reaching the peaks of wisdom and serenity. Jiuhuashan is not an easy mountain to conquer, but anyone who has stopped here once, even just for a moment, will feel something sacred, a deep peace in the soul. It is there, where all the fatigue and worries of life will disappear like thin smoke drifting in the wind, and only silence and peace remain, a place where people's hearts can let go of all worries, to find true serenity. China is a vast country with countless mysteries. Among them, we have explored the four most famous Buddhist mountains above. If you want to know more about other places, please comment below the video to let us know. The Strange Distant Land team will do it and send it to you as soon as possible. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and press the notification bell to update on our latest videos. Thank you to everyone who has watched this video. Wishing you all good health and happiness. Best regards, and see you again.